Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about whipcording and show you the basics. And I'll just wave this bobbin, which isn't a bobbin, around in the air. So whipcording is a rope making method. It is really fast, and that's about it, to be honest. There's not really much to it. There's only about 2 patterns you can do if you're using 4 strands, which is pretty normal. You can go up to be using 6 and 8 strands. It just gets a little tangled up between the fingers. I swear I have dyslexic fingers. Nowhere else in me is dyslexic, but my fingers are, well, dyspraxic. And I'm not very good at multitasking with my hands, so I tend to just stick to 4. So what you're going to need is something like this, or say a very tall lamp, or, you know, a stable bit of wood, maybe on a banister, that kind of thing, to fasten it to. So this is just a dowel where I've chopped the top off and turned it into a T-frame so I can suspend my whipcording from this point here. You're also going to want some bobbins. They add weight and stop things getting tangled. I was looking at traditional bobbins online to try and make my own, and I found that quite a lot of them actually look like dolly pegs, and I found 8 of these for like £2 in the craft shop. So when I'm trying to be authentic, I use these, but today I am going to use Kumihimo bobbins, and I would recommend using these not just for Kumihimo, but for everything. So they are these wonderful rubbery bobbins where you wrap your yarn around and then fold that over, and it all stays nice in there. And because the rubber, it's so easy to get your yarn out as you're doing whatever you're doing. You can just search Kumihimo bobbins and these will show up, because that's how I found them. And they are fantastic. I love them so much. So I have 4 of those, and in fact I'm just going to sit here and open them all, which I should have done before I started the video, but I'm not being very good at preparing in advance today. You're also going to want 2 very long pieces of yarn. So I have cut 2 in my lovely bright pink, which I love to use for demos because it stands out, and you're going to want to fold them in half so you have 4 strands and you have a nice loop in the middle. And what I tend to do is just tie a knot in that end, so you end up with a nice little loop, and then just slot it on like that. Now the reason I suggest using a T-shape also stops this one that's slipping further down, but it also gives you a lot of space when you're doing your whipcording to like wrap it around and get it out of your way, because it does grow really fast and you're going to want to get it out of your way really fast. So I'm going to just attach my bobbins. It's like I was saying, take your end, wrap your yarn around, and close it, and now your yarn is all lovely and safe and snug. Not that yarn cares if it's snug or not. I should stop anthropomorphizing inanimate objects, she says, as she knows she will start talking to them as soon as she's finished this video. Does anyone else do that? Just talk to random inanimate objects, like tables when you stub your toe on them. It's obviously the table's fault. Or if I've got to move something, I'll often tell it in advance that I've got to move it. I think this is just because I'm a bit of a nutcase, if I'm honest. That's 3, so I'm just going to do the last one now. I will show you in another video how to attach your yarn to the dolly pegs. I just thought these are a little bit easier to show you with today. The quicker to set up as well. So now you have 4 things. I'm going to get them so they're all roughly the same length, and tuck this under my arm. You can also stick this into a belt. In fact, I believe they are meant to be stuck into the belt, but I'm not wearing a belt and I don't really fancy sticking this straight down into my leg because I'm sat down. So I'm just going to tuck it under my arm. Try and get it so you can actually see what I'm doing as well, because this is going to be awkward. So you want 2 pairs. So you want a north-south pair and an east-west pair. So it's my east-west pair and my north-south pair. And all you are going to be doing is crossing these pairs over. The thing you got to remember is with your north-south pair, if your north one goes right and your south one goes left, you always want to keep them going in that pattern. And the same with your east-west. You always want to keep them crossing in the same direction. So I will try and get this in a good position so that you can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm going to cross my east-west pair, so my left one is going to go in front of the right-hand one. And then these two, I'm going to cross this one on the right side. So like that. And then you just want to keep going in that pattern. And I know it's going to be very awkward to see in this position, but all you are doing is crossing them. So you cross your east and west pair, and then your north-south pair, and then your east and west pair, and your north-south pair. I hope you can see what's going on. So you can see how fast the rope starts to build. Sorry about the cranking of the bobbins. There we go. So now, like I was saying, this wonderful T-shape is brilliant for getting some of this out of the way. So I can just wrap it over there, and it's now short again, and I can get back to crossing. And this is why these bobbins are great. I now need to get a little bit more yarn out, and you can just slide these down and your yarn comes out wonderfully smooth, never gets caught, so you don't have to worry about things like that. And then you just keep going, crossing those over. I will try and get the boyfriend, hopefully, to do this, film this from a different angle for you, in case my description has been terrible, which I'm sure it will have been, so then you can get a proper view of what I'm actually doing. I just can't get my camera in the right position by myself to do that at the minute, because I don't have a tall tripod. So you just want to keep crossing those pairs, and you can see how fast it's going. This gives you a really nice, strong rope. You'll be able to see the twist on the rope there. So making this from linen, I assume, is what our Vikings would have been doing. Probably not wool so much, because it tends to get all sort of weirdly stretched. This one isn't doing too bad actually, but I've tried a different yarn before and you just get a load of lumps when you're doing wool. So as you can see, I'm just crossing these over. So that is whipcording. It's very, very simple, very, very quick. I can imagine this is the kind of thing that you'd be doing on a boat. And I've just kind of lost my pattern there. That's something that can happen when you're not quite used to whipcording, is that you'll just start kind of getting distracted and maybe doing 2 passes of the same direction, and then ends up like this and ends up splitting a little bit. But that's not a problem. You can just get back into your previous rhythm. and you might end up with a little bit of bump in your rope if you're doing that kind of thing. But there you go. So that's where I went a bit wrong. You just have a little bump. It's not really an issue at all. So yeah, that is whipcording. It's wonderfully simple and wonderfully fast. And like I say, there's not really much else I can say about that. If you need rope, try whipcording. So as I said, I will do another video on how to use these when I can get my camera in a slightly different angle, and hopefully that will be more useful for you. But I just wanted to show you the process and talk you through it first. Kind of one of my this is what you need to get started videos, but that would have been very short for whipcording because it literally you need a stick and some bobbins and some wool. So I hope someone's found this useful, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.